Hey guys, darkmaster491 here, and I've got a battle versus another gym leader from the PAX Pokémon League, Mr. Resetti, the Reset Surveillance Specialist. Mr. Resetti is a ground-type gym leader. As you can see, the gym leader is only using ground-type Pokemon. This is going to be a 6 vs 6 single battle. I'm thinking of leading with my Tapu Fini, which has Surf and Grass Knot, so Gastrodon is not a problem for Tapu Fini. My Tapu Fini can also set up with Calm Mind. I definitely want to have my Skarmory set up to Stealth Rock to break any potential Focus Sashes. I've got Rillaboom, which has Choice Band, Grassy Glide, and Wood Hammer to get super effective damage on Golurk, Gastrodon, Mamoswine, and Sandaconda. I've got a Choice Scarf Ninetales, which could come in handy if my opponent has any Choice Scarf Pokemon as well. And I also have the option of setting up Trick Room with Hatterene so that Glastrier can get a sweep going. So this shouldn't be too difficult, but let's see how things go in this battle. I just have to be a little bit careful with the Excadrill since it has a Sand Rush ability, so it'll outspeed all of my Pokemon while the Sandstorm weather is in effect. My opponent doesn't actually have any Pokemon with the Sandstream ability, but Sandaconda has the Sand Spit ability, so my opponent has the option to send in Sandaconda, and its Sand Spit ability will activate and set up the Sandstorm when it's hit by an attack. My opponent could also Dynamax the Excadrill and have it go for a Max Rockfall to set up the Sandstorm, and Excadrill has some nice synergy with Max Steel Spike and Max Quake boosting its defense and special defense respectively. Anyways, I'm ready to battle, so let's jump into the battle now. Alright, so my opponent's going to lead with the Excadrill, and I level my Tapu Fini. So I'm thinking the Excadrill could Dynamax turn 1, but actually I don't really think they would Dynamax right away. But I feel like playing it safe because Tapu Fini does threaten his whole team, so it is an option. He does have the option to just Dynamax right now. I believe, if I recall correctly, it had the Air Balloon item. But I don't actually have any ground-type Pokemon on my team. Although Glastrier does have the high horsepower. So if I were to set up the Trick Room, I do have to be careful not to go for the ground-type attack until the balloon is popped. But I'm going to send in Skarmory just in case he decides to like Dynamax turn 1. Or he might try to Iron Head me to try to get the flinch on Tapu Fini. Oh, he actually goes for a Swords Dance. Wow, what a read. Yeah, that was a really good read. That's kind of scary. It could go for some Rock Slides now and try to get the flinch in Skarmory. I'm just gonna Whirlwind because that's kind of scary. But yeah, Iron Head's not doing much, but I'm not going to like take any chances here. I'm just gonna go for that Whirlwind. I'll set up Stealth Rocks now. I was gonna say I'll set it up later. I didn't know what was gonna come out from the Whirlwind. But he does have a lot of physical sweepers on his team. More physical sweepers than special. Yeah, I'm gonna set up the Stealth Rocks right now, and I'll just Whirlwind again. So I probably should have led with the Skarmory, but yeah, Tapu Fini was kind of a middle ground lead. I mean, I just want to put on pressure and start knocking out Pokemon as quickly as possible. So he's gonna switch out. Maybe the Garchomp has Fire Fang to get super effective damage on Skarmory. I'm just gonna go for a Whirlwind here in case he sets up some Swords Dances, or I mean, I guess why would he set up Swords Dance, but I mean, just in case. He's gonna go for the Fire Fang, as I kind of expected. And I'm gonna go for that Whirlwind because Whirlwind is a safe play. Why not? Let's see. In comes the Gastrodon. Okay, this might be a good opportunity to get off a Roost, but he could try to burn Skarmory with a Scald. Have the Misty Terrain up, but Skarmory is a flying type, so it could still get hit with status effects. Yeah, I'm gonna Roost first, and then I'll switch back out into Tapu Fini to set up some Calm Minds, because yeah, Gastrodon can't really do much to Tapu Fini. It's pretty much Calm Mind setup bait. Yeah, so Scald thankfully doesn't get the burn, and it's just in time because the Misty Terrain just ended. I can send in my Tapu Fini again, set up the Misty Terrain again, and we'll be good to go. We can start setting up some Calm Minds. Tapu Fini has leftovers, so we can get some leftovers recovery. So things are looking good so far. I haven't really gotten any damage on his Pokemon, but that's fine. He's gonna go for the Scald. Yeah, I'm just taking a bit of my time to set up and make sure that my opponent doesn't get too much damage on Tapu Fini or any of my other Pokemon. And I'm just gonna go for Calm Mind first. I have the Grass Knot, as you can see. I can Dynamax Tapu Fini and have it go for Max Overgrowth. Gastrodon doesn't actually weigh that much if I recall correctly, so Grass Knot probably is not gonna pick up the KO. It might be a 2-hit KO. So I'm gonna go for the Earth Power, and that's barely doing anything, so I can just go for some more Calm Minds. Probably one more. And see if my opponent switches after. Actually, I mean, I'm feeling pretty safe, so might just go for Calm Minds until my opponent switches. If they decide to switch into Excadrill or something, I'll just try to get some damage. Dynamax Fini. Oh, ooh, that's a nice play. They went for Memento. I actually didn't even know Gastrodon gets Memento. That's really interesting. That's a nice tech, actually. But yeah, they sacrificed the Gastrodon, so at what cost, really? But it is a pretty cool play. I have 2 Calm Minds up, so Tapu Fini is back to neutral, so I don't know if that really paid off for my opponent, but let's say if I didn't set up any Calm Minds and Tapu Fini's at -2, then Excadrill could actually try to set up Swords Dances. Yeah, it has that Air Balloon item. The thing is, if it was Weakness Policy Excadrill, then that would actually be pretty scary. I wouldn't know about it, but like Excadrill could try to set up a Swords Dance if like Tapu Fini was at -2 special attack, but yeah, I'm just gonna Dynamax Fini, go for the Max Geyser. Just in case my opponent decides to try to get big damage of Iron Head. Tapu Fini could get flinched from Iron Head, so we don't want that. And if I Dynamax Fini, then it's not gonna get flinched, because Dynamax Pokemon are immune to flinching, so I just think that's the best play right now. He's gonna go for the Iron Head. Don't want to risk getting flinched by Iron Head, so I'm just gonna go for that KO. And Gastrodon was like one of the most annoying Pokemon on this team, so seeing that it used Memento is like honestly like really huge, because yeah, that just means I don't have to deal with Gastrodon anymore, and Tapu Fini can pretty much sweep the whole team. We'll have 3 turns of Dynamax. And I already have the rain set up, so I'm going to be getting big damage on everything pretty much. He might Dynamax something now. Well, he's sending Golurk. I don't really think Golurk is a good Dynamax option though. Garchomp could be a better Dynamax option. Although I have Max Starfall on Tapu Fini. Maybe I should have put Max Hailstorm, because that would have got more damage on the Garchomp. But I figure Moonblast, Grass Knot, and Surf were the best moves for a ground type gym leader. Alright, so Misty Terrain ends. I can always set that back up with a Max Starfall. So I got one more turn of Dynamax. I mean, I didn't necessarily need Dynamax, but I really, for the Excadrill, I definitely needed the Dynamax, because Iron Head could flinch, and I don't want to take that risk. I mean, turn 1, I really should have just went for the Surf, but that was very well played going for that Swords Dance turn 1. But, I mean, it didn't really accomplish much, but still. Yeah, because getting flinched is always scary. So yeah, they're not gonna Dynamax Garchomp. Okay, I'm gonna go for that Stone Edge, which is fine, because it's always a good idea to wait it out and then Dynamax later on. They could also go for a Max Guard and then try to just pick up a lot of damage with the Garchomp, or Max Quake if they're like Weakness Policy. But well, I mean, those are some ideas that I would probably test out of our running a ground type team, mono type team, and Yeah. So let's see what comes out next. He still has how many Pokemon? I know he has Mamoswine and Sandaconda are still alive. Yep, there comes the Mamoswine. So I believe he only has 2 Pokemon left then. There's Gastrodon went for the Memento, and Feeny knocked out 3 Pokemon. So yeah, 2 Pokemon left. It could be Choice Scarf or faster than Feeny, so I want to try to get the 6-0 if I can. So probably want to switch into Skarmory. I mean, it could knock out Skarmory. I mean, I feel like I could preserve Tapu Fini for the last Pokemon, the Sandaconda. Sandaconda, if I recall correctly, is a fairly slow Pokemon, but Mamoswine has some pretty good speed. Although I believe Tapu Fini's base speed is faster than Mamoswine, but it could be max speed, Scarf or something, and yeah, I could preserve Tapu Fini. It would be nice if I just switched into Rillaboom, but I mean, you never know, my opponent could try to make a read, go for an ice attack. Yeah, so it's always safe to just go into Skarmory. Yeah, so that's fine. I'm gonna go for a Roost. Maybe they switch out or they go for an ice type attack. Unless they're choiced in some way. And they'd be forced to, but they would be forced to switch. Oh. Okay, they either predicted that my Skarmory would be faster, or that doesn't make sense because Skarmories are slower than Mamoswine. I mean, you would have really only Earthquake if you thought you were slower than Skarmory and predicting the Roost. But would think most players would know that Skarmory is slower than Mamoswine, so I'm gonna assume they're probably choiced, locked into Earthquake. Yeah, it looks like they're choiced because they keep just going for Earthquake. I guess he doesn't want to switch for some reason, but that's fine. We'll just knock it out and knock it out for some Brave Birds, and that'll be fine. Also, he probably doesn't want his last Pokemon to take any chip damage, so that could explain that as well. But I'm going to play it safe here. I'm just going to go for another Roost. And then finish it off with a Brave Bird since my opponent's not switching. So just going to make the safe and obvious plays here. Keep my Skarmory healthy, and yeah. I could switch in a Rillaboom if he really is choiced, but I'm just going to play it safe and go for a Brave Bird and finish it off. But I feel like I should have Rillaboom on the field for what he has last. But, I mean, you never know. He could have Dynamaxed the Mamoswine last minute, so it's not a good idea to switch in a Rillaboom. It's a very bad idea, because then that would make the game a lot harder. And I would not be able to 6-0. So, let's see. So he probably Dynamaxes the Sandaconda. I mean, Skarmory's a flying type, so you can't go for that G-Max Sandblast move, since that's a ground type attack. Alright, so it's gonna, well, if it is Gigantamax Sandaconda, usually they are. Yeah, it is Gigantamax Sandaconda. The Gigantamax Sandaconda has that unique G-Max Sand move, which is pretty cool move. Traps your Pokemon on the field and you can't switch out, so it's a very effective move. Oh, got that. Went for the max rock ball, but it's not going to do that much damage. I was going to say, even if I went for the Brave Bird, it would have activated the sand anyways, but he's just probably trying to get as much damage as he can. I mean, it's not really much that it can do. I believe Sandaconda gets, not sure if it gets some fire move. I'm pretty sure I recall it got like Fire Fang or some kind of fire move. Would have gotten more damage on Skarmory if he had that, but his best move seems to be Max Rockfall, and that is fine. The only thing I didn't account for, and I probably should have, is he could have had the Sandaconda go for coils, so yeah, it probably would have been a better idea for me to switch out into Rillaboom. But the thing is, if he Dynamaxes, then Rillaboom is just taking like so much damage I have to switch out. I'm probably not going to get the KO with Choice Band Grassy Glide because Sandaconda's pretty bulky. It would have to wait until the Dynamax turns end. So yeah, I'm just going to go for Roost, stall the Dynamax turns, and I'll send in Rillaboom afterwards because, yeah. I mean, actually that would have been a problem if he went for the Coil. I'm actually surprised he didn't go for the Coil before Dynamaxing. Because that would have been really smart. You let your other Pokemon get knocked out and then go for the Coil endgame. But either way, I still have Ninetales, so I'm not really concerned about that, even if he wanted to go for that play. The Sandaconda's still pretty slow. So it would depend if it's faster than Rillaboom or Tapu Fini. Let's see. So it's gonna go for those coils. It's gonna be kind of scary, but my Rillaboom's Choice Band, so I'm not really concerned about this that much. It's gonna have to go for a few more coils before I can try to beat the Rillaboom. See, I can go for another coil. I mean, Choice Band Wood Hammer is still gonna do a lot to it, so. Yes, not too much you can do here. I'm gonna guess this is gonna be like a 2-hit KO. I mean, it's Choice Banded Wood Hammer, but Sandaconda's pretty bulky. I don't think it might. Maybe it does like 75%. Oh, it actually picks up the KO. Oh, because it got a critical hit. Maybe that's why. Alright, well, that's pretty much the game.